Welcome to EZC Family Ministries program, looking at family issues. We hope and trust you're all good. And like previously, last time we looked at midlife crisis. Today, we are continuing with another topic. With me today is our guest, Pastor Chaukura, who is our Family Ministries Director at East Zimbabwe Conference. He is also a marriage officer and a counselor. So we are so privileged today. Welcome, Pastor Chaukura.
Thank you, Ms. Chaukura. Greetings to all of you, family members, especially young people. We love you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Chaukura. We definitely do love young people. And today, our topic of discussion is surviving breakup. Surviving breakup. Really, this is a hot topic. I'm quite sure you are all eager to know. Surviving breakup. Specifically looking at young people. Is that so, Pastor Chaukura?
Yes, yeah, breakups can be even amongst couples who have spent even half their married life at 35 years in marriage or even beyond. There can be a divorce. That's a breakup.
Sure.
So we are not going to zoom into that today. We are looking at young people and their issues.
Why young people, Pastor? What's the purpose of this presentation, especially to young people like you have just said?
Thank you, Mrs. Chaukura. Young people are very important to our lives today in the community, also because they have the strength, the power. Solomon talked about them, and even John says, young people, I write to you because you still have the strength. And the church of today is filled with young people, about 75% and beyond.
Okay.
Now we have to also attend to their issues with all diligence and deliberately so. So I wish to introduce this lesson by reading Proverbs 4, verse 23. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. And King Solomon again, as he talks to young people, Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 10. Therefore, remove sorrow from your heart and put away evil from your flesh. For childhood and youth are vanity. So we are talking about breakup. An author called Wendy Welsh says, love is a delicious cocktail of neural hormones. Talking about love, you sometimes do not know what you are doing.
Sure.
Because of the hormones that are dangling inside you. And I have experienced it. So in the adolescence, we need to track the lives of our young people. We need to make sure we are deliberate with their upbringing and their social network. So within that spectrum and that age group, adolescence means growing up. And a lot of things are happening. If you mess up at that age, your future will be compromised. So she says, if there's a breakup, there's something that you have lost because the heart and the brain, they feel it. So the symptoms and withdrawal symptoms that come in when someone withdraws from a drug, they also set in when you withdraw from a relationship in a life, like couple, like a young people.
Love life.
Yeah, love life, yeah.
Thank you, Pastor.
Courting.
You talked about 75% of young people in church being youth. Is this issue just targeted at our youth in church or even outside as well?
Oh, yes, even outside as well, because we are the salt of the earth. We need to minister to those ones. When I do counseling, I do not segregate whether they are coming from our church or from which church, this denomination, or they don't have these religious beliefs. But even the community, my neighbors, we need to appreciate their lives and to build them up.
Thank you, Pastor. So young people, you are benefiting. Parents, you are also benefiting. And your neighbors and friends too ought to benefit from this discussion. Back to you, Pastor Chaukura.
Okay.
Can you please tell us what are the stages maybe that are involved in these breakups? Are there any cycles kind of? What is there that we ought to know?
Yeah, you know it like a children ministries director, you know what happens even with your children. There are like grief stages in grief.
Okay.
Whenever there is a loss, even a loss of a finger, loss of a job, loss of property, or loss of a partner, really there's a lot of grieving. So the grief that sets in, there is denial first.
Okay.
You don't want to believe it, to accept it, that I've lost a life partner, I've lost someone whom I was, whom I was building my future with to become my life partner. So there's denial stage. Number two, anger builds in. Okay. It sets in. You become angry and you throw anger tantrums. Number three, after throwing in all those anger tantrums, you feel very sad. And you withdraw from your normal duties, that normal life duties that you used to enjoy. Even your social life is affected negatively. Number four, after sadness, there is jealousy.
Okay.
You feel jealousy and you begin to compete. You follow or stalk your partner whom you were in love with.
Okay.
You check their daily moves. You are trying to compete with them again and with any other prospective partner whom they will link up with. So you become jealousy. It's a sad situation, and you become competitive. You throw a lot of photos on Facebook or on media, social media, so that you are like, you're trying to court again. And next stage, there is apathy.
Okay.
Apathy is an emptiness situation where you feel you are lonely, you no longer have value, sort of. There's a lot of emptiness. You are locked in yourself. Sometimes during this stage, people look scruffy, they wake up late, they don't even take care of themselves, even they forget about eating, and they feel very bad about it. And they say, why worry? Then the next stage, acceptance. This is good, beautiful. After some time, we don't know how long the time, because this author, the clinical psychologist who wrote the book Loving Bravely, Alexandra Solomon, he says, you cannot set time, you cannot say during grieving, it takes so long, and before you hook up with another lover, you must have spent 6 months or what. But a minimum from the American side, it's a minimum of 3 months. From the African side, it should be longer because of the bonding aspects. In Africa, when we decide for something, even love, we really dig in and dig deep.
I like that one, Pastor.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Africa. And after that, finally, when you accept the situation, there is hope. You hope for a new life, a new lease of life, and a new network of friends, and another partner. Okay. Those are the grieving stages, Mrs. Chaukura.
Thank you, Pastor Chaukura.
Yes.
Let me take you back to the stages, Pastor. I've seen you have talked about anger and sadness.
Yeah.
And I'm so concerned about, with our parents, at times they don't know what is happening to these young people as they stay with them in their homes. Do you have any word to them?
Parents?
Yes.
Really, I'm a parent also, and I have a teenager in the home. I have to really take care of his emotions, his relational life, and I need to support him in whatever dreams he has. And I have been giving him books. There's the other one that I gave him, What Every Young Man Should Know. This is the one that I read during my youth. Okay. And we have Young Men and Young Women. These are the books that we are selling with the literature evangelists. So I would say, parents, please take care of these jewels, precious as they are, and especially when they pass through adolescence stage, we really need to invest much time, much resources, and a lot. Even in church, let us involve them more than we involve the church elders. Yeah.
Thank you for that one. But Pastor, yes, they can be reading all those books, young people, what they ought to know in relationships. And I, as a parent, won't know what is going on. I will just see this mood, this son of mine in the morning, this girl, you know, she's so sad, she's so reactive. Sometimes I don't even know. How best do you think I can approach, maybe she or he might be grieving as well, but they are still in my home and I don't know as a parent what is going on.
Excellent. From childhood, like you are leader in children ministries,
Yes.
isn't it that you teach us that we must relate well with our children?
Thank you,
and
Pastor.
also be like them. When you play with them, come down to their level so that they are free to interact with their parent as if they are interacting with another sibling or another friend.
Thank you, Pastor. We'll take a short break and we'll come back and discuss more about this topic. I can really see we are enjoying as well as our viewers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Chaukura.
Welcome back. We are continuing with our discussion today, Surviving Breakup, focusing on young people with Pastor Chaukura, our EZC Family Ministries Director. Yes, Pastor, you talked to us about stages of grief that one faces in breaking up. Can you now tell us of the fears that go along with this process?
Yes, Mrs. Chaukura, loneliness, number one. A young person doesn't want to be lonely. They have been linked and enjoying this social life, the love life. And now they've been sort of set aside. We don't need to say dumped.
Okay.
But when they're set aside, they think, they feel lonely, really.
All
The
right.
heart expresses loneliness. That's a fear. Fear number two, hurting. They are hurting because of this wound. They've lost a relationship. So they fear to continue hurting. And number three, they fear to lose attractiveness. They feel like nobody else is attracted to me. They think like the other person has already smeared the character and assassinated their personality to other friends and to other would-be partners. Those are the three major fears.
Okay.
That's why you see they want to quickly overturn the tables and move on with another whilst they are still grieving. That's the disadvantage.
Yeah, Pastor, you know, I'm picking up something from this discussion. It seems like we are mainly focusing on someone who is the recipient of this breakup. Don't you have a situation where there's someone who is actually the initiator?
The initiator?
Yeah, of a breakup.
Yeah, bring another dimension. We normally look at the one who is receiving the effects. But this one who initiated a breakup, firstly, I want to say that breaking up is not sinful.
Okay.
You would not have received the compatibility element in the package of compatibility wouldn't have tasted well with you. So you would have tried your best. Young people, try your level best to maintain a relationship because it is really heartbreaking. It causes a lot of injuries, even in society, even in the family, even your family. So really, before you break up, try by all means to bring some counselors and close friends who can help you to mend up.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you are the initiator of the breakup, you should say you also feel the same effects. This is real.
All right.
Because of the hormones and the loss, it also hits you hard.
Okay.
There was someone in your life and you are now alone. And you also need to go through the grieving process, but slowly, and take your time also. Otherwise, you can link up and hook up again with this one after you would have mended the relationships.
Okay.
Could be also the positive part of it. God would have said no.
Okay.
All things work together for good to those who fear the Lord.
The Lord, that's
Could
true.
be the relationship was mistaken. It wasn't well planned.
So we mustn't fear breaking up. That's what you're saying, Pastor.
Mustn't fear, brave it up.
Thank you, Pastor. You know, as we were talking about the stages in breakup, I saw, you know, as I was picturing it, I just thought maybe it's just blank out there. Maybe someone soon after the breakup can think that's the end of it. I'd rather stay single. But do you think, as they're about to start another relationship, are there any things that they should avoid?
Yeah, things that to avoid, because this one, we are bringing this to young people because psychosocial effects, they may lead to depression, a lot of stressors, and also even loss of life. Some may commit suicide. We have lost young people who were vibrant in the families, but because they couldn't manage a breakup, maybe because of the resources and time they had invested in this life partner and this relationship, and the introductions that would have been done vastly, and on Facebook they'll be seen together
with those pictures flying and stuff.
Yeah, you can. So you should avoid, during a breakup, avoid quickly getting hooked up with another person, another lover, before you completely heal up. Number two, you should avoid a blame game. Blaming yourself.
You're
Why
right.
blaming yourself?
You're right, Pastor.
You are not to blame after all, because it takes two to tango. Could be you are the better partner out of that
Relationship.
Yeah. So you also should not feel guilty about this. It's actually the devil's tools to destroy young people. Don't feel guilty about it. You should look at the positives.
Okay.
And be busy and start afresh. And take time to relook, re-engineer, and reinvent your will. And reinvest your energies into something more productive than love affairs.
Thank you, Pastor.
Okay.
I'm quite sure our young people, they are learning a lot. Don't blame yourself. There's still life after breaking up.
Really?
So, Pastor, suppose they want to move on. How should they do that?
Thank you, Ms. Kachairo. There are lessons that they should have learned from the previous relationship.
Okay.
These are positives. They learn their mistakes, their weaknesses, their strengths, and they can build up out of that and begin to look forward to a new lover with a lot of resources to invest in the new life. And they will also know, if you are a driver and you have an accident, you know how best to drive and what not to do when you're driving. So it's really an advantage to you. Let's take it as an advantage.
Okay.
When you are planning to move on, you better reconsider your steps and also take your time.
Take your time.
And attend to yourself. You know, breaking up does not define you. Do not be defined by a breakup.
All right.
Yeah, you really remain yourself. Yeah, Clifford Chaukura, you remain Clifford Chaukura with his dignity. And there's one important aspect I want to talk to young people. If you are deciding to break up with dignity. This person has been created in the image of God. And the image of God remains there despite your differences. And they are going to have another opportunity to be loved. So don't smear around and talk negatively about the life of this person and their personality and their character. After all, they are human beings also.
Thank you, Pastor. Actually, they say this world is too small. You will meet one day. Maybe you congregated the same church.
That's right.
So break up with dignity. I got and I loved that one. And please take your time.
Yeah.
Please take your time. Pastor Chaukura said that it is very important. There is no need for us to move around and compete to make sure that this one
he thinks or she thinks
I'm still worthy. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Pastor. So what do you think could be your parting counsel?
Thank you, Mrs. Kachairo. To young people and to those who are taking care of young people or family members, our lives are important and valuable before the Lord. And the value of our lives are not determined by the kind of life partner whom we choose. And life is not only made up of this relationship. And who knows, after this breakup, you can be a resource center to assist those. We are brought in society to help another person, to reach out. We must reach out to help them to identify and to rediscover themselves let's promote life even outside relationships. If you are the one who is planning a breakup, I would advise you, I'd counsel you to think again because of the consequences that may follow, which we are not able to control. So seek counsel, connect. The social network should be broader even when you are thinking about breaking up.
Okay.
When you are suffering a breakup, connect with many counselors, those people whom you respect and those whom you can confide with. Have time to meditate on your life. Your devotional life must be more improved. And you should also have time for aerobic exercises, generate joy within your body. And that will,
and
life
eating
goes
well.
on. Eat well also.
Yes,
Avoid junk food.
When
people are under stress, they really go for junk food and they overeat, and that's when they become obese and overweight. It becomes another challenge.
Thank you, Pastor Chaukura. This was really an eye-opener. And I hope and trust we have all learned quite a lot. I'm sure in our next discussion, Pastor, you advise us on some reasons that can be good or that can be a cause for breaking up. Yes, so that we can be guided. Because like you said, it is necessary sometimes to break up. So we will discuss, Pastor Chaukura. I'm quite sure you'll come again and guide us on that one.
Amen.
Thank you so much. It was good having you here. We hope to meet again in another session with Pastor Chaukura, guiding us in family issues. Thank you.
Thank you, audience. God bless you, young people.